Reality television has always thrived on drama, secrets, and shocking revelations. But what is currently unfolding between the television network and Amy and Tammy Slaton could become one of the most explosive scandals in the history of modern reality TV. For years, millions of viewers have tuned in to watch their story play out in raw and unfiltered ways. These two sisters from Kentucky transformed their personal struggles into one of the most popular reality television franchises. Their lives, their bodies, their relationships, and their emotional highs and lows were all packaged and broadcast for entertainment. But behind the emotional moments, the viral clips, and the unforgettable story arcs, a battle has been brewing, one that has now erupted into a lawsuit involving unpaid earnings, accusations of breach of contract, and claims of exploitation. The network's lawsuit alleges that Amy and Tammy have breached their agreement by refusing to film the upcoming season of their show. In response, Amy has reportedly claimed that the network owes them $50,000 in unpaid earnings. That figure has become the flashpoint in a conflict that touches on money, power, control, and the often hidden mechanics of reality TV production. To understand how everything reached this boiling point, it's necessary to go back to the beginning of their relationship with the network, back to when they signed their first contracts, believing that they were stepping into a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. When Amy and Tammy Slaton first appeared on television in 2020, they were not polished celebrities. They were two sisters from Kentucky with thick Southern accents, unfiltered personalities, and a raw, brutally honest way of talking about their lives. They were living in bodies that weighed hundreds of pounds, struggling with mobility, health complications, and family tensions. But they were also full of humor, determination, and sisterly love. That combination made them stand out from the crowded landscape of reality TV. Unlike some other shows where each episode followed a single person on a weight loss journey, their series focused on their family dynamic. It wasn't just about numbers on a scale, it was about daily chaos, sibling fights, small victories, and hard truths. Their formula worked. Clips went viral on social media. Viewers related to their pain, their humor, and their honesty. Amy wanted to have children and was determined to lose weight to make it happen. Tammy wanted independence to live life on her own terms. Their brother Chris wanted to see both of them survive long enough to enjoy the future they were fighting for. These elements turned their lives into entertainment gold. Online platforms exploded with memes, reaction videos, and commentary. Suddenly, Amy and Tammy weren't just reality TV subjects, they were internet icons. Their story was no longer theirs alone. It was owned, discussed, shared, and consumed by millions of strangers. The network realized they had struck gold. Each season built upon the previous one, with expectations growing higher and higher. More weight loss milestones, more emotional conflicts, more personal drama. But behind the smiles and the on-screen tears, producers allegedly began tightening their control. The contracts that Amy and Tammy signed gave the network broad power over their lives. Those contracts, according to multiple industry insiders, were ironclad. They locked the sisters into multi-season commitments, restricted their ability to negotiate pay, and gave the network the authority to control their public images. They also included strict non-disclosure agreements that limited what the sisters could say publicly about production or finances. When they started, the sisters reportedly earned as little as $1,000 to $2,000 per episode, which is startlingly low considering the revenue the show was generating for the network. Over time, their salaries rose, but nowhere near proportionally to the millions of dollars in advertising and streaming income. As the show became a bigger and bigger hit, the sisters remained underpaid compared to what other reality TV stars earned for similar or even less exposure. Meanwhile, the contracts allegedly made it nearly impossible for them to walk away or renegotiate without facing steep penalties. To make matters worse, insiders claim the network withheld certain payments, citing production delays or other contractual clauses. This is where the $50,000 dispute comes in. Amy and Tammy were reportedly promised incremental pay raises each season. But when they completed their obligations for certain previous seasons, those raises didn't materialize. According to what Amy has reportedly told those close to her, the money isn't some future bonus. It's payment for work that has already been done. She claims the network owes it to them. The tension reached a breaking point with Season 8. This season was supposed to be the most dramatic yet. It was to follow Amy as she adjusted to life as a mother of two, navigating her separation from her husband while raising her children and dealing with new personal challenges. Tammy, meanwhile, was expected to undergo life-saving bariatric surgery and experience a massive transformation that would shock viewers. The season was teased as a turning point, a triumphant chapter that would showcase personal growth and redemption. But when it came time to roll the cameras, the sisters said no. Amy's refusal, according to multiple sources, was primarily about the unpaid money. She reportedly told friends that she could no longer sacrifice her privacy, her time, and her mental health, while the network wasn't even paying what they owed. Tammy, on the other hand, had different but equally powerful motivations. After years of being portrayed as the villain of the show, the sister who refused to lose weight, who lashed out at loved ones, who spiraled into dangerous health situations. She wanted more control over how her story was told. She reportedly believed that she had little say in how producers edited the footage, and that they repeatedly chose to highlight her worst moments for maximum drama. When they both refused to film, the network escalated the situation. They reportedly sent legal notices citing breach of contract and then formally filed a lawsuit. At the center of the lawsuit was the $50,000 payment, which the network claimed was conditional, possibly tied to future episodes or promotional appearances. The sisters countered that it was owed regardless, and that the network had no right to withhold it. What might sound like a contract dispute over a relatively modest amount of money is actually symbolic of a much larger power struggle. This is the classic push and pull of reality television. The stars claim they are being exploited, that they are underpaid and controlled, and that their lives are being shaped for entertainment at their expense. The networks claim the stars signed the contracts willingly, that they owe obligations, and that walking away causes financial loss. The lawsuit revolves around a single figure, $50,000, but according to some insiders, that number might be just the beginning. There may be more unpaid earnings, hidden deductions, and contractual gray areas buried in the fine print. If this case proceeds and financial documents are made public, it could reveal how much money reality TV networks make compared to what they pay their stars. The reaction from fans was swift and divided. On social media platforms like Reddit and Facebook, many fans expressed support for Amy and Tammy, arguing that they had endured years of being underpaid and mistreated while the network profited. Some pointed out that without the sisters, the show wouldn't exist. "They deserve every penny," one fan wrote. The network made millions off their pain and struggles. Others, however, saw it differently. They argued that the sisters owed their fame and their financial opportunities to the show, and that refusing to film was a betrayal of their own success. One commenter said, "They're biting the hand that feeds them." The truth, as always, likely lies somewhere in the middle. There's no doubt the sisters became famous because of the show. But there's also no doubt the network has profited tremendously from their lives. If Amy's allegations of unpaid earnings are true, then the network may face not only legal consequences, but also a backlash from the public and other cast members of different shows who might come forward with similar claims. This lawsuit also reflects something much larger than one show or one pair of sisters. It highlights the way reality TV stars are treated in general. Networks often cast ordinary people, turn their personal lives into content, and make huge profits while paying the people at the center a fraction of the revenue. Many reality TV contracts include clauses that give producers broad control, restrict cast members from seeking outside deals, and prevent them from speaking openly about their experiences. In the early 2000s, when reality television was still growing, few cast members challenged these contracts. But today, with social media and more awareness of how the industry works, stars have platforms of their own. They can speak directly to fans, build their own brands, and fight back. If Amy and Tammy move forward with their legal action, they may not only seek the $50,000 they claim is owed, but potentially damages for emotional distress and contractual violations. If this case goes to trial, the fallout for the network could be severe. Other reality TV stars, past and present, might use the case as a rallying point to demand better treatment or share their own experiences. The network, on its end, reportedly wants damages for breach of contract, arguing that the sisters' refusal to film has already cost them millions in lost advertising revenue and production delays. The future of the series now hangs unfiltered. Slaton's lawsuit may be the moment when all of this comes crashing into the light. How the story was managed by the producers, though some of those scenes were real. Insiders say that producers purposefully provoked the sisters to capture raw emotional reactions. Amy and Tammy had little to no control over how they were portrayed from the start, and TLC's editing team carefully selected which moments to highlight, often painting the sisters in the worst possible light. Fans may recall the innumerable scenes of Tammy exploding at their family or Amy crying when she felt overwhelmed. Tammy later revealed that much of her anger stemmed from being cursed into high-stress situations when the crew purposefully delayed meals or kept her waiting for hours before appointments, knowing she would become frustrated. They knew exactly what they were doing, the insider said. And they needed her to snap because that's what made the show addictive. These meltdowns became viral TV moments. According to Amy's friends, she was devastated to see herself portrayed as overwhelmed and unstable when in fact she was doing her best under impossible circumstances. Amy, on the other hand, was forced into situations that highlighted her weaknesses as a mother. Scenes where her home looked messy, where she struggled to manage her young children, or where she clashed with Michael were allegedly exaggerated for dramatic effect. The $50,000 quarrel became the last straw, according to reports, as both sisters felt humiliated by their editing by the conclusion of Season 7. But TLC allegedly told them that their contracts forbade them from leaving. Amy's motherhood challenges. Amy Slaton's role as a mother is perhaps the most tragic aspect of this scandal. Since giving birth to her sons, Gage and Glenn, Amy has attempted to strike a balance between her parental duties and the demands of being a reality star. Viewed according to insiders, TLC didn't care about her difficulties and instead saw her journey as a storyline to capitalize on. According to reports, producers insisted on filming Evan during extremely private moments, making Amy feel as though she could never escape the spotlight. After her separation from Michael, Amy reportedly begged producers for more privacy, especially to protect her children. But TLC allegedly pushed back, claiming that their struggles as a single mother were exactly what the audience wanted to see. Amy was followed by cameras through messy diapers, sleepless nights, and heated arguments with her then-husband, Michael, during Seasons 6 and 7. When the $50,000 payment dispute arose, Amy saw it as evidence that TLC didn't respect her or her sacrifices, saying, "If they won't even pay us for what we've already done, why should I give them my family's future?" Amy told close friends that she frequently cried at night after filming because she was afraid that her children would watch the show and see their mother portrayed as incompetent one day. Tammy's outrage over her representation. If Amy's breaking point was about money and motherhood, Tammy's was about dignity. Tammy has been the focus of controversy on 1000 LB Sisters for years, with viewers attacking her volatile personality, making fun of her stubbornness, and criticizing her for not losing weight quickly enough. However, Tammy has consistently maintained that the audience doesn't see the whole picture. Producers allegedly pushed Tammy to eat unhealthy foods, skip workouts, or start arguments with her family behind the scenes. According to multiple insiders, producers would ignore Tammy's diet progress and instead focus on her slip-ups. They wanted her to fail. One insider said because her struggle was the plot, and if she got healthy too quickly, the show would lose its hook. Tammy reportedly screamed at producers during a meeting, saying, "You made me look like a monster for years. I won't let you do it again," after she expected Season 8 to finally highlight her success after undergoing bariatric surgery and undergoing a dramatic weight loss transformation. Instead, TLC allegedly started promoting new narratives that portrayed her as unstable, angry, and dependent. TLC apparently filed the case almost immediately in retaliation for her and Amy's refusal to film. The exploitation pattern of TLC. Over the years, cast members from Sister Wives, 90 Day Fiancé, and even John Kate Plus 8 have spoken out against unfair contracts, low pay, and manipulative production tactics. This is not the first time that TLC has been accused of exploiting its stars. Many fans think that the Slaton lawsuit could lead to other reality stars suing the network. The network makes millions from ad revenue, streaming rights, and international sales, but the stars themselves often see just a fraction of that. One former TLC crew member who wished to remain anonymous stated, "Stars sign contracts because they are desperate for money or fame, but once they're in, it's almost impossible to get out without a lawsuit." Although they might be the first to retaliate in this way, the Slaton sisters probably won't be the last. Fans start activating TLC. TikTok users have pieced together old videos of Amy and Tammy crying, claiming that TLC has been taking advantage of their suffering for years. YouTube commentators are calling this the beginning of the end for 1,000 The Alum sisters. And social media has been ablaze with reactions since the lawsuit was announced. Hashtags like #PayTheSlatons and Justice for Amy and Tammy have become popular among fans who feel the sisters are being mistreated. Fans are calling for Amy and Tammy to start their own YouTube channel or sign a deal with Netflix or Hulu, where they would probably have more creative freedom. And some are even threatening to boycott TLC completely, stating that they will cancel their Discovery Plus subscriptions if the network doesn't pay what it owes. However, not everyone is in favor of the sisters. Some fans accuse them of being ungrateful, pointing out that the network paid